Shalom, shalom, family. It's your brother Yaakov, Woodrow, James, whichever rolls off the tongue, man. Two of those names were given to me in the nursery at birth, and the other one was given to me when I found out who I was in the Most High. So, hey, man, whatever stage you met me at, feel free to continue on. It's all good. I prefer Yaakov, though. You see it right there. this talk we having this week, I call it "Don't Look Back." You're not going that way. And at the end, we're going to switch up and give a little admonition for people who put their mouth on the people who hear from the Most High, because sometimes it might not line up with what's conventional, what makes sense to everybody else. But just be careful. Be real careful with that. What the dude say on the one episode of Housewives? I walked past the TV. I was at somebody's house. They was watching it when the man poured the drink on that lady because she did something. He was just like, "Be real careful. Just be real careful." And the way he was talking just tickled me. Not that I condone nobody pour no drinks on nobody, none of that, but just how he said, "Be real careful." It just was funny to me. Some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all probably like, what in the world is he talking about? Anyway, let's get into this. This is Isaiah 43, chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Verse 19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Good News Translation. But Yah, or the Lord as it says, read in that translation, says, do not cling to events of the past or dwell on what happened long ago. Our people need to hear that over and over and over and over, like every day. Verse 19, watch for the new thing I am about to do. It is happening already. You can see it now. Or the New Living Translation say, do you see it now? Do you not see it now? Like, what's wrong with you? You don't see that? But a lot of people won't see it because they're so busy focusing on and clinging to events of the past and dwelling on what happened long ago. This continuing 19. I will make a road through the wilderness and give you streams of water here in the dry wasteland. New Living Translation says. So the backstory on that, Abba, or our Heavenly Father, was telling his people they didn't have to dwell on the Exodus account. As marvelous as that was, and as marvelous to this day as it still is, like they still find pictographs and stuff from all different cultures, just showing that, like, and they find it like remnants and stuff, just letting us know that it really happened. People still fascinated. We still fascinated by that. I put me in. I'm fascinated by it. But as marvelous and wonderful as that was, he's telling us that what he's gonna do now, the new thing he's about to do, is going to be so great that we don't even have to focus on that no more. Just focus on the new thing that's happening. And like I said, do you not see it? Like, just look around, watch the news. Can't tell something going on. For real. Come on now. Maybe it's because you're focusing on events of the past. Like I said, not to do. Anyway, I digress. And people, people love to, bring up the past. A lot of people love to say, keep it current. Keep it current. What's going on right now? But people love to bring up the past, especially other people's past. Or even their own past if it was a time where as though they were very prosperous or they were very popular or whatever the case may be. We remember on social media it used to be a thing. I don't see people doing it as much now, like Throwback Thursdays, when they put a way back Wednesdays or whatever, when they post up pictures of themselves when they were little babies and stuff. Like, shoot, I used to love to do it. I posted pictures of me when I had hair on my head. We all know I need this cap. That's not the case now. I post pictures of me when I had my little curly fro or had my cornrows and stuff, or post stuff when I was skinny or all that type of stuff, man. There's times in your life where you felt good about yourself or felt happy or whatever, and there's nothing wrong with that, but don't let that be your focus. Make sure that you're focusing on where you at right now. You feel me? Like, nothing wrong with, like every once in a while reminiscing and stuff like that, but make sure you focus on what's going on right now. Because that's what's important. We can't do or undo anything about anything in the past, but what we can do is move forward and make sure that we do better moving forward, or make sure that, shoot, if you like your pictures when you look skinny, go do some exercise, you can be skinny again. Or like when you had hair, Nowadays, hey, anything is possible. They got hair units. I looked at something where they take, for a man, they can go and take the hair out the back of your neck and transplant it up on top of your head or even in your beard, stuff like that. Some people, they was saying, different celebrities, like, you think their beard is so luxurious. Really, that's the was the hair from in the back of their head and they implanted up here, which I don't see nothing wrong with. It's their hair. They grew it, from somewhere and they just moved it to somewhere else where it might be more beneficial. It's a little pricey. I don't know. Maybe I get a huge blessing one day. I might go do it and join them ranks. But all praise to the Most High. My little derma roller doing a little something. My beard more beardly than it ever been at this point. All praises to the Most High. I always wanted to get one like my pop, and then also once I, like got into these scriptures, like I'm into them now. I always looked and seen all the men of the Most High in the Bible always had a beard, so I try to see what I can do with mine. I pray, and it's been doing a little something. My brother says it's doing a little something. I always tell him we try. Most High willing it flourish, and all thanks to all my friends, even my friend over in the UK that be sending me the beard oil, and a couple brothers, my brother here that sent me some oil, and all the little tips and tricks and stuff that I've been picking up. Man, how did we get talking about that? Let's get back into these scriptures, man. Got sidetracked. Sorry about that. Somebody gonna ask me like, continue what you were saying, and I'm not gonna remember what I was saying. Sorry about that. Let's get back into these scriptures, man. I just go off on a little tangent sometimes. People that's thinkers sometimes go all the way this way, that way, the other way, but at the end of the day, we gonna end up where we were supposed to be going. Trust and believe that Most High, especially when we doing the work of the Most High, He gonna make sure that. So this is. Oh yeah, I was saying people like to, like dwell on the past and stuff like that when it's happy times, pleasant times, and even when it's unpleasant times when it's somebody else. But they say people bring up your past when they intimidated by your future. They bring up, oh man, they see somebody shining. Oh, I remember when you used to be dirty. Or a female looking beautiful. Oh, I remember when she used to look like crap back in the day. I don't know who she thinks she is. She better don't ever forget where she came from. Shut up. Leave people alone. Let people live. As long as they ain't doing nothing against the commandments, as long as they ain't doing nothing that's hurting you, why are you worried about it? That's basically the theme of what this shirt that I got on right now. It's kind of hard to see because it's camo, and it is camo. It's hiding. But it said, what's it to you? What's it to you? And that's the exclamation point and the question mark. That's like my thing on life right now. People always want to ask you, they might see you happy where you are in life and see you, doing your thing in your mind, or doing what the Most High told you to do. But they like to see you doing something else. So they, oh, you don't miss this. Oh, you don't want to do that anymore. What's it to you? What is it really doing to or for you? You know? I should get made to say, worry about yourself. What the scriptures say, like every man work out his own salvation with fear and trembling. So many people is so worried about everybody else and what everybody else is doing and not putting in no work on themselves and not even where they want to be at. So why are you worried about what the next man or woman is doing and what they got going on for real? Like, of course, you show concern. You want to help when you're asked. But like I say all the time about unsolicited advice, unsolicited whatever, just offering stuff. And ain't what 8 Ball said, and we said this before I showed this picture last time. I might put it back up here again. You got a lot to say and then nobody asks you nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's get back into these scriptures. This is Proverbs 7 and 10. Back on track. Like I told you, we always get back to where we supposed to be at. Proverbs 7 and 10. Say not thou, what is the cause that the former days were better than these? For thou dost not inquire wisely concerning this. God's Word translation. Don't ask, why were things better in the old days than they are now? It isn't wisdom that leads you to ask this. And there was a content creator back on the old days of YouTube, I call them the golden days of YouTube, when they had the inbox and it was just seemed a lot more free and open than it is now. I ain't complaining. It's still a great thing to be able to reach people and speak to people and to gain information on things from. So I'm a fan of YouTube, but those days were just like days like no other days, like we probably never see again. But there was a content creator on here named Marcel, and I forget it was Marcel Enlightened or Marcel something, but I just remember Marcel because I actually got a homie that has Marcel in his name, and so I always can remember that part. But he had a video talking about the past and how a lot of times we think the past is better because our brain tends to hold on to the good parts of the past and to kind of sort of like forget or get amnesia or whatever about the bad parts. So you use the example, you say you might think about a family trip like to a carnival or to like Disney World or something like that. And you remember the rides, you remember the smells in the air, you remember the treats and concessions and cotton candy and all that you had, but you forget about the long ride it took to get there. You forget about that one baby in the family that cried and hollered the whole ride, or you forget that you had to wait on some slow family member to get themselves together, and y'all was just rest of y'all just sitting in the car like you don't remember any of that. Which is why he also went on to say like you might hang out with a friend that y'all might have fell off from each other, stop hanging out, but once y'all link back up, you'll remember exactly why y'all stopped hanging out because your mind just forgot about those parts. And like even like with music, people like, oh my goodness, the music of the day is trash, which it is, but for the most part, well, the mainstream of it is. There's good music out there, but you gotta like hunt for it, search for it. It's not the stuff that's being pushed in your face most of the time. But people say the music's trash, it didn't. But you would think that all the music back in the old days was good. Some of that wasn't good either. But I will say, compared to what we can offer now, some of the even trashiest stuff is better than some of the stuff that they saying is the best stuff nowadays. But I digress. But like we just tend to forget the bad parts, and then also keep in mind some things are growing pains, some things are birth pains. Like when a lady have a baby, she had to go through that period where as though she had the labor and she had the pains and stuff like that. But out of that comes a beautiful thing. She can't just stay pregnant and the baby stay in her stomach forever because then the beautiful newborn and the great human that the Most High made will never get to manifest it to the world. And like I said, no punishment seems pleasant at the present time, but the fruits and the thing that come out of it will make you basically almost forget all about that pain that you felt. And you don't want to hear that when you're going through it, but once it's over, you really will be able to say that. And I'm a witness from the things that I've been through, like some of the hard things that I've had to endure or gone through in life. Like looking back on it, I'm grateful because it did make me the person I am now. And like King David said it best, my suffering was good for me because it helped me to learn your laws and commandments and statutes. Helped me learn and made me into who the Most High wanted me to be. Like I tell people my stories and oh, I'm so sad, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I'm like, hey, I appreciate it, but at the same time, if it never happened, I would never be who's sitting before you right now. I guarantee you that. I'd be with Clugum say, a game goofy goober just sitting around giggling and grinning through life and thinking I know something when I knew absolutely nothing. So, all praises to the Most High for what I've been through in the journey that He's put me on, and anybody in this truth would pretty much agree with that. I'm pretty sure. It ain't all rose flowery beds of ease all the time. They say many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High delivered them from them all. At the end of the day, we gonna be delivered from that. They say no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. It don't say they won't form. It just say they won't prosper. They won't take you out of here. Until the Most High says it's time for you to get out of here. So, this is Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith Yah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. New Living Translation. For I know the plans I have for you, says Yah. They are plans for good and not disaster, to give you a future and a hope. And lastly, on this subject, this is Luke 17:32. It's so powerful that it only took 3 words. That's powerful. Remember Lot's wife. And for that, we go back up to Genesis, and I'll put up the verses there if you want to read the whole story. But basically, they were told not to look back when they were departing from the land, Lot and his wife and his family. The Most High destroyed the land, and He only saved Lot and his family. And He instructed them not to look back. It says, but his wife looked back, Genesis 19:26. His wife looked back behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. New Living Translation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following him, and she became a pillar of salt. So she really just turned into some salt. And I saw something from like Discovery Channel or something. It was here on YouTube, where as though they found like a pillar of salt that like in the shape of a lady. So for all intents and purposes, for all we know, that could have been her right there. You know, just to say that these not just no fairy tales or fables or nothing like that, or allegorical stories, as some people like to say. This stuff is real. I got a whole series, DVD series, did where they show like a lot of archaeological findings and stuff that prove a lot of the Bible stories, man. So don't let people just tell y'all that. Dismiss it. A lot of times, what they say, a sinful man will not be corrected, but findeth an excuse according to his own will. So let's get into another account. Now that's it for on that for right now. We might come back and visit in another time, but that's it for the don't look back. You're not going that way, and that's one of my favorite memes, man. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Look forward. Press it forward. They say with the thing, forgetting those things which are behind me and reaching for those things which are before. That's for my New Testament folks right there. That's one that y'all probably familiar with. One of my favorites from the New Testament. Let's get into a little admonition for people who want like to put their mouth on the Most High's people who might not be moving the way that they think they should move, or doing the things that they might like to see them do. Like I said, my life is but a microcosm, just a small scale of what's happening on the big scale. And a lot of times I get reminded of that because a lot of people see me doing what I do for a living now, and they would so love to see me doing what I used to do. You know, and a lot of people don't even mean no harm when they do it, but then when you let them know you happy where you at, a lot of people can't understand that. I had somebody take my picture, stand on the bus stop, and put a whole catch. This is sad, Facebook. This is sad, such and such. And I ran across the person again, and I was like, "Can you explain to me what was said?" I catch the bus because I don't drive. I've never driven in my life. You know, so even when I was doing what it was that you used to enjoy seeing me do, I wasn't driving then. You know, at one point I bought a car, but even then I didn't drive it. Other people drove it. But and then my dad used to drive me the most of the time. My dad passed away, so even if I have a car, who's gonna drive it? And I don't have any desire to drive, so I would get on the bus, or now we got Ubers and Lyfts and things like that. But you won't see me driving. So what was said about that? I said, did I ask you for money to get on the bus, or did I have my own pass? I had a monthly. I was squared away for the whole month. I said, did I look hungry? I sure didn't, because my belly was big and poking out on that picture you took. And that's what I said. They was like, I asked you, could I take a picture? You said, yeah. I said, no, I didn't, because I at least would have sucked my stomach in. Sorry. If I would have told you to go ahead and take a picture, I know to do that. And also, I would have said, could you take a picture with me, but not of me? I remember I got that from the shout out to the brothers that I first started learning from on here, the GMS dudes. People like, don't take pictures of us. This is not the circus. This is not the zoo. Don't take a picture of me. I was always say, you can take a picture with me. We both could be in there. Somebody ain't gonna be find something joking about it. They gonna see you and have the opportunity to get on both of us, not just me. You feel me? But I was just like, man, I asked you for anything. That I was up there with a sign? Was I singing with a cat sitting in front of me or something like that? You know, well, what was said? I don't know. People just want to see you doing what they want you to do, not necessarily even what you want to do, and definitely not what the Most High tell you to do. Most people don't want to see you do that, boy. Good gracious. But this is a little admonition, not about me, but in general, about speaking on people who hear from the Most High, because a lot of times we move different. What they say, the ones who move say the wind blow, and people hear it, but they don't know which way it go. Such as all that are born of the Spirit. I'll put the verse up there so y'all can check that out. I think that's in John in the New Testament. But yeah, we with the scripture, with the Old Testament say we are peculiar people. Might not do what everybody else doing, so you might look a little weird, look a little strange, and some people put that up there and call themselves the peculiar people, and they be peculiar not in a good way, but this man in a good way. Well, good to the Most High, because what's good to the people is not always what's good to the Most High. I'm getting off track again. Focus, Woodrow. This is Numbers 12, New Living Translation. We're going to read the whole chapter, but we're going to read it from the New Living. The complaints of Miriam and Aaron, Moses' siblings, Moses' brothers and sisters. We're going to see them speaking against something that Moses was doing, and we're going to see who come to his defense. Check this out and see how it ended up not good for them. Check this out. Verse 1. While they were at Hazeroth, Miriam and Aaron criticized Moses because he had married a Cushite woman. That's something I see a lot of people doing on here on these internet streets. Always worried about who somebody dealing with, and people of this race or this group. Why are you messing with this kind of woman? Why are you messing with that person? This. All stuff that ain't none of their business. You know what I'm saying? With like people, I try to keep it clean, but a lot of brothers call depolicing. Always worry about what somebody else doing with their stuff. But I digress. Because he had married a Cushite woman, she was from another nation. And so they said, verse 2, has Yah spoken only through Moses? Hasn't he spoken through us too? But Yah heard them. Verse 3, and this is key right here. Now Moses was very humble, more humble than any other person on earth. And we know that our Father is close to the humble. We look at Psalm 138 and 6 for one example of that. And it made me think of people like sometimes, like I said, my life is a microcosm of what happens in the whole world. Just a small scaled down version of what happens in the bigger picture. For the definition of microcosm, we talked about it last week, I think. But a lot of times people would come to my defense and things where as though I just brush off. Like I hear people say this, that about me, but it really don't make me no difference. Like my mom taught me about that early. Like it don't make me no difference in my everyday life or whatever. So I just let it slide. People like, oh nah, I'm gonna say something. You ain't gonna say nothing. Like nah, he ain't gonna say nothing because he nice or because he cool. He ain't gonna say nothing. But I'm about to say something. I'm about to do something. Like nah, y'all ain't about to talk about that man in front of my steps. Y'all take that down the street or y'all take that somewhere else. Or matter of fact, we can take it up. That has really happened, and I didn't ask nobody to do that, but that's what happened because of their humility. Because I carry it so humble, that other people feel the need to take it up for me. And this is who better to take it up for you than the Most High. It's bad, could be bad when a person take it up for you, but when the Most High take it up for you, good gracious, he saw Moses was humble, more humble than any other person on earth, so he took it into his hands. And that's what we supposed to do. Let go and let him, let it go. Just release it to him and let him deal with it how he chooses to deal with it. And that's what Moses must have did, and this is what he said. This is what happened. Verse 4. So immediately Yah called to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam and said, go out to the tabernacle, all three of you. So the three of them went to the tabernacle. Verse 5. When Yah descended in the pillar of the cloud and stood at the entrance of the tabernacle, Aaron and Miriam he called, and they stepped forward. Verse 6. And Yah said to them, now listen to what I say. If there were prophets among you, I, Yah, will reveal myself in visions. I will speak to them in dreams, but not with my servant Moses. Of all my house, he is the one I trust. I speak to him face to face, clearly, and not in riddles. Speak to him straight up. He sees Yah as he is. So why were you not afraid to criticize my servant Moses? Verse 9. Yah was very angry with them, and he departed. Verse 10. As the cloud moved from above the tabernacle, or tent of meeting, there stood Miriam, her skin as white as snow from leprosy. In the parentheses it says, or with a skin disease. The Hebrew word used here describes various skin diseases, or either way she was afflicted, and it was visible to be seen. When Aaron saw what had happened to her, verse 11, he cried out to Moses, oh, my master. Now, see how he humbled from talking smack about Moses to calling him his master? Familiarity breeds contempt. A lot of times we see somebody all the time and we have a rapport with them, relationship, we tend to forget or tend not even to realize who they are. What they say, be careful how we treat people because you don't know they rank to the Most High. Or in the spiritual world, I think the meme said. But yeah, we got to be very careful. But anyway, let's get back to it. Verse 11, he cried out to Moses, oh, my master, please don't punish us for this sin we have so foolishly committed. Don't let her be like a stillborn baby, already decayed at birth. And for reference to that, Sirach, chapter 10 and 9 said, we decay while we live. And this is like a reminder us to stay humble. Verse 13, so Moses cried out to Yah, O Elohim, I beg you, please heal her. That's still his sister. He still felt for her, like showed how humble he is. Even though she got dealt with for speaking against him, he still prayed for the Most High to heal her. That's love right there. That's humility. Verse 14, but Yah said to Moses, if her father had done nothing more than spit in her face, wouldn't she be defiled for 7 days? And after that, she may be accepted back. And we had to look into, for that, to look into the laws of uncleanness. I can't tell you exactly where it is. I don't claim to know everything. I'm more a person. I focus on Psalms and Proverbs and like things that we can show us how to live wisely and walk wisely and stuff like that, and practical knowledge. That's what I specialize in. But there's other teachers, and you can probably Google and find where those things are. I know when I used to go to this one congregation, here, one assembly, if a man and his wife had like laid down with each other in that way, then they wouldn't even come to service the next Sabbath, because like the night before, if they did that, they wouldn't come to Sabbath service because they said that they was unclean. But like I said, I'm no expert on that. I'm still a work in progress, as all of us are. They say some of us got this expertise, some got this, some know this, some know that, and the hand can't say to the eye, because you don't see like I see. You're not part of the body. We all are different parts. But verse 15. So Miriam was kept outside the camp for 7 days, and the people waited until she was brought back before they traveled again. So they waited on Miriam to get right, because they still traveled as a family, as a team. I know y'all hear that in the background. Well, no noise before I start doing this, but hey, what can you say? Verse 16. Then they left Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. Moral of the story, watch your mouth when talking about the Most High's chosen people. Matter of fact, watch your mouth, pray, because you never know people's rank in the spirit world, like we said. And to go along with that, mind your business, work on your own salvation with fear and trembling, because each man and woman will be responsible for his or her own soul. Like they said, when you get there before the judge on Judgment Day, he ain't going to ask you about me. He ain't going to ask you about this one. He ain't going to ask you about that one or the other one. He going to ask you about you. So keep that in mind for real. And gossiping and talking about other people might be tempting and fun. They say gossip is so tasty. How we love it. They say something like that in one of the translations of one of the Proverbs. I'll put it up here. Most High willing. But just like any other escape, what have it changed for you at the end of the day? What did it get done? It's like people get drunk to escape. What was different for you when you sobered up? You had the same problems to deal with. You just got temporary escape from them. So let's be mindful of that. And with that said, I'm going to say shalom. Most High willing, we'll get together again real soon. Much love, and Yah Baruch, or Yah bless. And keep our mouths off of other people just because we don't understand what they're doing. Like, don't get me wrong. Somebody doing something that don't line up with the scriptures. Like you close enough to them that you could blow that trumpet. And then even with that, you don't got a badge from. You say it one time and then you go about your business. But if it ain't bothering nobody, you just don't like it, or it just ain't what you would do, ain't them people alone, man. You got stuff of your own you need to be worried about and fix it. So with that being said, much love. Yah Baruch. Shalom, shalom. Most High willing, we get together again and do this again real soon. Love y'all.